Hey there, here are my 3 new favorite indie games of May. I'm an aspiring game developer myself, and in this video I tell you a little bit about the games I encountered this month, what good, maybe some flaws, and why I personally like them so much. These are just my personal favorites, so if you played other indie games this month that I didn't mention or maybe haven't even heard of, drop them in the comments, I love to check them out. Let's start with A Webbing Journey, developed by a small indie studio Fire Totem Games, which was founded by a group of 6 friends. Since its release 2 weeks ago, it gotten huge positive feedback, and you can see that reflected right on the Steam page. So what is it? It's a physics-based jump and run, where you play a little spider inside a house. First off, you can customize your spider. Look at Mr. Rabby with his nice little hat. He's definitely up to something, but what really makes this game special is how the spider moves. Let's talk game dev for a second. The spider animation isn't based on static keyframes like most platformers. Instead, it uses procedural animation. If you don't know what it is, it means the spider-like movements are calculated in real time during gameplay, rather than playing a pre-made animation. This is way more complex to pull off and can look super weird if you're done wrong. But here, every little leg knows exactly where to be, and it just feels right. And you really feel like a spider. On top of this, you can use your web to swing around, climb, or even build complex webs to navigate and explore. The whole experience is immersive, not rushed or dangerous. It's cute, atmospheric and friendly. You see that in the game's flat, cel-shaded visuals and pastel colors, which really sets the mood. Each room has a little task to complete, like one early task, making popcorn. You bring the corn to the microwave, open it, press a button. It's these kinds of interaction with the whole world what makes the game feel alive and intuitive. You can also flood the kitchen, race around, cook things, or just explore. And of course, like any good platformer, you collect something. In this case, buttons. So if you're into unique jump and run experience, A Webbing Journey is definitely one to check out. Next up is Duchy from a French studio, Sleepy Mill. So deck building games have been everywhere the last few years, but Duchy stands out with a really interesting mix of genres. Imagine combining deck building, Tetris-like puzzling mechanics, and roguelike structures. That's Duchy. Each game run is split into 3 acts, and in each act you progress through a map, placing tiles in a Tetris-style layout, but instead of clearing lines, finishing row collects resources based on the field type. These resources let you, for example, trade for new cards, and cards represent special tiles, like a farm or a woodcutter that generate even more points or resources. Each round you mix landscape tiles with unit or utility cards, and here comes the real twist. You also play the enemy tiles. Yes, you're setting up both your side and the enemies, which adds a layer of strategy. You want to give yourself bonuses and limit theirs, which turns the whole game into a kind of puzzle. And each puzzle round ends when there are no tiles more left or you get over the edge. And after that, combat happens, and the combat is really interesting itself. There's also a puzzle-like element, where you have to say in which order the enemies attack each other. And so you have to look, crossbow is better against sword, and sword is better against axe, and axe against crossbow. So you have something like rock, paper, scissors in it. And each act there's a boss fight that changes the rules in surprising ways. I won't spoil those, but they definitely shake things up. Between runs, you can unlock new cards and skills, and the game does a great job at starting simple and expanding complexity slowly. So you don't get overwhelmed, but you do get hooked and want to play another round. If you like deck builders with a twist, Duchy is a game you should definitely try out. Unlock new cards, new factions, and maybe break your brain a little in the best way. So, game 3. Next one isn't fully released yet, but the demo just dropped and I've been playing it the past few days. It's called Escape from Duckov. Duckov. Yeah, made by Team Soda. So imagine Escape from Tarkov, a tactical extraction shooter. Now make it top down, cartoonish and full of ducks. Yeah, that's Duckov. It clearly takes a lot of inspiration from Tarkov, but it doesn't try to clone it like many other extraction shooters. Instead, it does its own thing. First, it doesn't take itself too serious. It's got bright cartoon style visuals, funny characters and ducks with attitude. Second, it's not a first person and not multiplayer for now, it's PvE only, which actually makes it way less stressful than Tarkov, and exploration without the constant fear of other players. And cheaters, of course. Okay, the hideout system is one of the coolest parts. You can actually walk around in it, interact with objects, place your stations like workbenches, and craft items, like in Tarkov, but more interactive. It feels more like a real place than just a menu, which really adds to the immersion. Then there's the main loot. You enter a map, loot everything, complete the task, loot more, and try to extract. There are references to Tarkov if you know what to look for, but the world has its own charm, like repairing a bridge to cross the river or discovering secrets. Get tasks from other ducks on the map. You fight enemies like shooting ducks, melee ducks, wild dogs, and at night, killer robot spiders. Yeah, it gets wild. Combat has some depth too. You've got melee weapons, guns with different types of ammo, a dodge roll, and the shooting system actually punishes spray and pray. You've gotta stay focused if you want to survive. So it's still a challenging extraction shooter where you can die really fast. The real hook is looting, building your base, completing tasks, and level up your duck with new abilities. I think the full version will have ton of more content. They also teased new maps and features in their posts, and I'm excited to see where it goes. If you want a less intense but still tactical looter shooter with a ton of personality, you should definitely check out Escape from Duckov. So those were my 3 favorite indie games of May. If you like this kind of video, leave a like or even subscribe if you want to see more indie game content. So also check out my first game, Bring the Book Back, which I released last month. And if you're curious about what's next, you can wishlist my upcoming game, One Last Clip, on Steam. It really helps a lot. And don't forget, if there's any indie game you're hyped about and recently discovered, let me know in the comments. See you next time. Cheers!